Hey, I'm Larissa, and I'm going to explain to you the real reason Richard Ramirez had so many groupies, and it's not because of hybristophilia and how there's a chunk of women that are just so horny for serial killers, although that's part of it. That'll be a whole other video that I'll break down through the lens of the Enneagram. But the real reason that Richard Ramirez had this kind of this kind of magnetic quality, is actually his personality type. And I can explain that to you through the Enneagram. If you want to find out what your personality type is, you can get typed by me below. You can also get coached by me too to help you maximize your actual type. Richard Ramirez, aka the Night Stalker, who murdered, I don't know, over a dozen women and children, and SA'd also plentiful amounts of people. I don't know what words I can say on YouTube, so you know what that means though. Um, and but he was notorious for being like a hot serial killer, and all these crazed women went to his court appearances, and they would visit him in jail. Every week he would have female visitors, and then he married one of them, and everyone was basically like, oh, he's such a cute and nice person. And it's like, how can you say that about somebody who's committed such crimes, right? Well, it's because of his personality type. So six-wing fives they are not the most common type, but they are up there. So they're like relatable enough. There's a lot of people with six in their tri-type. There's a lot of people that are sixes. So there's something about him that is kind of relatable. He's kind of boyish. He's kind of charming. He's kind of weirdly does give off this like a good person thing, and like a humble person, even though he's again like a serial killer. And it doesn't feel fake the way it does with some other serial killers that get caught, where you're like, ooh, you really get the ick off them. You don't really get the ick off Richard Ramirez, even though you should get the ick off Richard Ramirez. So you take a type that is highly relatable and connectable and likable, and you pair it with one of the more morbid, dangerous, instinctual stacking. So in the Enneagram, I type him as a sexual dom. He's a sexual dominant person, and his second instinct is self-preservation. So he's sexual self-pres. So this is sort of like a spidery, sexy, brooding, sexually magnetic outsider stacking to begin with. There's only like three different instincts you could be, so the other one is social, and he has social last. So he's not really worried that much about like how he comes off. He's all about kind of danger and penetration and thrills, and seeking a sort of transformative experience, which is what he was doing with his murders. If you want to know more about his type, where I'm not talking about this specific topic, you can watch it on Goblins of Discord. But for this, there's something very charming and magnetic about him. And we will watch a clip where he's sort of embarrassed and kind of flirting with the interviewer to see exactly what I'm talking about. He's got a kind of riz, even though, I mean, and he's got great hair. He's got fantastic hair. I'm not a stan, by the way. I'm not a Richard Ramirez stan. I'm just telling you through the lens of typology what this is.
I am not engaged. I am not engaged, and no, I don't want to talk about anything like that.
So he did get married, but yeah, you can see he's sort of like embarrassed. He's sort of playing coy with the interviewer. He's making eye contact. He's smiling. And because he's a six, even though he's like a murderer, I don't think this is an act. This isn't really a mask. He's doing his type.
Do I associate sex with violence? Break. Shit, man. That's a hard question. I don't know. I can't answer that, Mikhail. I mean,
He's talking to her by her name. He's overly familiar. Sexual doms can get like, even though he's a sexual self-pres, so there is a sort of wall around him as well. Sexual doms can get very vulnerable, overly personal. There can be this sort of boundarylessness to them, where they're just get overly familiar with you right out the gate. And because he's a six, it's like it is going to be very interpersonal. sort of like getting on the same page, like I'm sort of like you. Oh, I'm embarrassed, I'm humble, I'm not a threat. And again, this is not like a mask like some other types do. This is him being genuine. I actually think that like his serial killer stuff was sort of more an adaptation to his environment, but I think that this is when women are like, he's nice deep down, I get him. This is what they're connecting to, because I really do think he was a product of his environment, which doesn't excuse what he did. But they're seeing this part of him, and this is like I actually think the real Richard Ramirez, um, underneath all of the horror.
Okay. Oh, just,
It's like he raped and murdered a ton of people, and he's getting embarrassed talking about it.
oh no, we can't get into that. See, she tries and makes, keeps me going, but I can't. I can't.
Yeah, he's kind of flirting. She's activated his sexual instinct, and this is what happens if you get a sexual dom who meets somebody who is kind of sparking them or activating their instinct, is that they are going to get kind of, excited and aroused. And when you're like a sexual dom, it's like you're connecting to energy and you're connecting to sparks and electricity. And he was misdirecting his sexual instinct towards like danger, killing for thrills, rape and murder. And because that's sort of what he learned from his cousin, his dad, and then his brother-in-law. It was like all of this whole swirl of like abuse, and that's what he learned. But it's like underneath it all, it's like he is trying to seek this like kind of friction, this fire, this excitement, this chemistry, this romance in some weird way.
Don't laugh like that. You're making me laugh. I hope you edit this real good.
Yeah, he's like genuinely embarrassed because she's titillated him, and he's self-conscious now because you are the most self-conscious in your dominant instinct as well, because that's where you have like the highest stakes. That's where you have the most to lose. And so as a fear type, as a six, he like they can either go really fearful where they become like avoidant and like try to make their life to avoid feeling the fear in some way, where it's like if I just get all the resources, then I don't have to, if I get enough people to help me, I don't have to experience the fear. But sometimes sixes can go in the very opposite direction, especially six wing five, which is where they seek to sort of like overcome the fear. They seek to dominate the fear by becoming the fear itself, by he became the monster. But he's still a six.
Well, yeah, thank you. Okay, go ahead, man. What do
Yeah, as he's trying to be polite, he's including her.
I'm at a loss here. What do you want me to say? People,
Nothing. I
people.
wanted to say
You
the
know,
things you've made me think you
hold
gotta
on, Mike.
say.
Hold on.
So
No,
yeah, now he's in his element, and this is what happens. This is what happens when you're in your element with your dominant instinct. If it's self preservation dom, it can be like literally talking about like home renovations or food or something like this. For socials, it's kind of like talking about people hierarchies, history, gossip. This, and for sexuals, it's like you're creating like this sort of chemical reaction in another person. They're creating a chemical reaction in you. You're having fun. There's energy being exchanged. He's connecting, he's kind of getting like, flirtatious here.
sometimes I can't.
And so he probably loved getting fan mail. He probably wrote back to all these chicks. He probably freaking loved getting all of, I mean, any guy uh like that would probably enjoy getting all these female fans coming to visit them anyways, right? Because then they feel like a rock star. But especially for like a sexual dom, it's like he's stuck in jail, but he has this like steady supply of women who are obsessed with him. That's like very ego stroking for a sexual dom.
I can't say what I really feel. I am pending trial here as to sex and violence. Many people are into S&M and bondage and stuff, and there's clubs that
Yeah, we're talking about you.
me. Well, sex and violence. Well, no, I don't think I'll answer that. No.
Yeah, again, this is what women were connecting to, and I know that it is a thing that there are certain personality types that love serial killers, and I will do a video on that. But in this instance, they're attracted to his personality and his energy, and it's because of he's a 6'5". He's relatable, he's the everyman, he's humble, he's charming, he's funny, he's cute. He's kind of got that boyish best friend, nice boyfriend. He'll pick you up. He'll hold the door open for you. He'll pay for dinner. And then he's also got the sexual instinct, sexual self-pres, which makes him kind of dangerous and sexy and kind of dark and weird. And I think because sexual doms are like a little bit rarer, when a sexual dom connects to another sexual dom in the wild, there is like and there's a bit of an attraction that's formed, or they're not like totally gross. There can be this sort of magnetic pull to each other. So I imagine that all these women seeing him on TV and in the paper and everything else, they probably, if they had sexual in their type, right, they probably sensed it in him as well, where they were like, oh, and then they were drawn to it like a rock star. So yeah, if you want more videos like this, let me know. I'm going to start doing more of these types of breakdowns where they're kind of just focused on very specific aspects of a type. And I will be doing more ones about true crime. And so make requests below too if you feel interested in that.